What's up, y'all? It's your boy Cortez Mac here with the homie Teresa Morcho, and this interview is like years in the making. You are literally like one of the first people that I ever talked to on camera when I first started this wonderful journey that y'all are on with me. Make sure you subscribe so that you can stay a part of this journey. Come back next week for some more. But I digress.
Yeah.
I have been waiting to sit down and talk to you. How are you doing?
I am fantastic. We met at the
the drag reading.
Yeah, it was like a story.
Drag story time.
Yeah,
what they call
it? With Keisha Lansbottom and all of that. And I remember that. That was a little while ago.
That was years ago. Years.
Yeah.
Oh my God, time just really flies. But you have been grinding and thriving, and just like everything is in alignment for you right now. It seems like
alignment is the perfect word.
Yes. So we got to get into that. So y'all are tapped in right now for 5 questions with the girl Teresa Morcho, and I want to ask you. Ooh, count them up.
Like Janet Jackson.
Okay. Look. So number 1, the first question that I want to ask you is, people would best know you as, or should best refer to you as, what?
The Fairy Studmother.
Ooh.
And it's so funny how that name came about. But yeah, so everyone knows me as the Fairy Studmother. But I've been a mother before in a house, back in the day.
A house mother? What was your house name?
Trebor. Well, First Lady Trebor was what they used to call me, because we were kind of like reinventing what houses were.
Okay.
So my girlfriend at the time was the prez, and I was the first lady. And we have all these children, and they're still calling me mom till today.
Yes, I love
So
it.
I don't know. I love on studs because I feel like I'm loving on myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I first came out, I was a stud when I came out.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to give up that masculine side of me in order to survive in just everyday life.
Really?
Yeah. So when I came out, I was very masculine. And, being African and all that, it just did not work. It didn't work being Catholic, African, Black. It was not working.
Wow.
So femininity for me was kind of like my survival mechanism. But I fell in love with my femininity and fell in love with the power of it. So Stud Model Project for me is kind of like honoring that masculine side that I had to like tuck in my pocket and be like, yeah, come on, just I got some stuff to do. And if I pull you out, I'm not gonna be able to do that. So, but the way the world is now, I'm just like, let me create a space for these people so people can see that they're not this like delinquent, criminal, thugged out, whatever, like these are teachers, lawyers, doctors, models, actors, singers, journalists, all of the above, and they look damn good.
I love it.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely, marginalization within marginalized communities. And so you see, like, even in the gay community, somebody said, well, I'm gay, but I'm not feminine.
Yeah.
Or I'm, and so we see how we, I guess, want to have some type of air of superiority over someone. And so for you to recognize that need for that space is dope. So tell the people a little bit more. Question 2. Look, you rolling. Question 2. Now that we talked about the Stud Model Project, explain to the people the purpose and how they can support it.
Yeah. So the purpose for Stud Model Project is actually to create a safe space for these like-minded people to come together to create. Not just create, but build their portfolio and work around someone who understands their journey and wants to highlight their journey and want to amplify their voice. Because when I used to also do parties. That's one thing, a lot of people didn't know, but I used to host parties.
Okay.
And when I did, I hosted for Black lesbians, and I would look for content and pictures of the women that were in my event, and I could not find them. I was like, there were no stock photos, and so I was like, if it's not there and I need it, and I'm a creator, create it, right? So people always think of manifestation, and they think like you think of it and then something is gonna happen and it's gonna show up, when you don't realize that thinking of it is the process of creating it. So just create it, right? So that's kind of what happened with me, and I just started doing it, and people loved it and trusted me and trusted that I was doing something for them, and giving a space for them to to show up as themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, did they come running.
Yes.
They came running.
Y'all, like, I heard about Stepmodel Project before I had heard of you or met you, and then I was like, oh wow, she created this, and I'm like, oh my god, like I went crazy, like when I met you, I was like, oh my god. So
that still weirds me out, by the way.
when people see you and credit you for what you have done, the amazing work.
Because for such a long time, I always wanted to be behind the scenes, because like I always wanted my work to speak for itself, and I always wanted to be behind the scenes. It wasn't until I went to film the pilot of Studmother Project, the series, and I brought a young lady in, Gabby, hey baby, I love you.
What's up, Gabby?
So I brought Gabby in to be kind of like the narrator, and just, you know, because I wanted to be the producer behind the scenes and create. But the more I looked at it, I was like, I need to be that person to tell the story, because I don't like she did an amazing job, but I knew that in order for people to really connect emotionally with the project, I knew that I needed to step up, and it was scary.
I know it.
It was scary because being in front of the camera was not my thing. So
it is now.
Look, when God says it's your time, it's your time.
It's your time. So let's move into question 3. And you talked about, you know, letting your work speak for itself, but now you're speaking a lot more, and you have the Fairy Studmother podcast. So I want to ask you about the podcast, but the way I'm going to give you that question is, when did you find your voice?
Oh, man, listen. People always think that when someone comes out and finds their voice, it's like one moment and one event that happens, and then you're just like, ding, 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 I found my voice, right? It does not happen like that.
Nope.
No, it's a multitude of things that constantly try you through life. You know what I mean? Whether it's depression, whether it's sexual assault, whether it's failure. Failure will make you find your voice faster.
Like a motherfucker.
Than wins. Yes, like a motherfucker, okay? So it was a lot of times that I had failed and wanted to give up. All the times that I was knocked down and I was just like, all the times that I wanted support from people who I loved, and I didn't get that support from them.
That
and
hurts. That really hurts.
Yeah, because you get the support from strangers, but you're like, you don't want to continue because you really want these specific group of people to say, I'm proud of you, or you're doing a good job. And so after a while, I had to look at myself in the mirror. And if y'all don't do this enough, I encourage you to do this. Look at yourself in the mirror and be like, you got this. You're doing this. You got this. You're doing this. You're beautiful. I love you. Like, talk to yourself the way you want other people to talk to you. But let me tell you what really, really did it for me. So one day I woke up and I was like, God, if you want me to continue this journey, I want you to show me a yellow feather. Please show me a yellow feather if you want me to continue this journey. So all day long, I kept looking. I was like, come on, God. You got to show me this yellow feather. Come on, God. And at night, I was sitting there and I realized that I had color pencils and I had a sketchbook, right? So I'm sitting there like, all this time I'm sitting here waiting for God to show me this yellow feather when I have yellow pencils and a paper to draw it.
Create that bitch.
So I drew it.
I love it.
You know what I'm saying? I drew it. And I still have that yellow feather till today because that let me know that my life is in my hands.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's in my hands. I have everything inside of me to create the life that I want to create for myself. So it was that day that I was just like, that's it. That's it. That's it. I'm doing it. Ain't nobody stopping me. There's nothing, not a man, not a woman, not nothing, not the government. Nobody can stop me from doing what I need to do.
I love it. That's so inspirational. Honestly, I love that. Your life is in your hands.
Yeah.
Shaded by you, colored by you.
All of it.
You just hit me, friend. Damn. So let me ask you another question. And before we move on, you got to talk about the podcast. What got you into wanting to do a podcast?
So, I was in a car accident last year, and I thought I died. I literally thought it was that for me. Like, I thought I was done. Totaled my car, but I walked away, knowing that God gave me a second chance,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I started to reevaluate life. I was just like, have you ever asked yourself a question multiple times and it's the same question, but after a while the question sounds different?
Mm-hmm.
So I was in my house and I was just like, why me, God? Why me? Why me, God? And I was like, why me? Why not me?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you start to retrain your mind to ask a different question. So after that accident, I was just like, Lord, what is happening? Like this, that. And I just thought about it and I was like, everything that has happened in my life has been happening for a reason. And it's time for me to be transparent about it. Because there's no way that all of this is happening for me to not share my story. If I have this platform, if I have this voice, if I have this confidence to sit here and talk to people, I gotta use it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So November, December timeframe, I decided that I was gonna do a podcast. And I was like, I've never done a podcast before, so it's a learning situation. I went to Amazon, bought my little microphone, did my little setup in the house, and then I had surgery and it messed my voice up. So I was like, I couldn't start the podcast when I wanted to start it. But again, your attitude towards that. And I was just like, you know what? That doesn't mean I'm gonna stop. It just means I need to probably learn a few more things, have a few more interviews, go through all these moments before I go into a podcast. Maybe I needed to meet someone that will help me in this podcast industry to make it better. So ever since then, I've actually been interview after interview after interview, and I've found my voice over and over again. So I thank you for platforms like this because it helps small entrepreneurs like myself. No, seriously, these types of platforms are very important. It helps, smaller people who are needing to be seen come in a comfortable situation where you can have an intimate conversation.
Intimate conversations, that's the best kind, right?
Yeah.
Well, y'all got to come get some more of this intimate conversation next week. Look, we got 2 more questions left, and we playing One Gotta Go. So check back in. Look, you know it. So y'all got to check back in next week for part 2 with Teresa. Also next week, my girl Latifah is going to be on the ones and twos. The owner, the entrepreneur behind Center Stage Drinks is going to be back with the perfect Valentine's Day cocktail for that ass. I'll see you next week.